Hi everyone, and welcome to Mila Homes 12 Days of Property Investing. You can see I'm the Emperor tonight, and this is my Empress, Jill. Um, so we're coming to you live on Christmas Eve. You're probably going to be watching it on Christmas Day, if not later. But first of all, thank you for taking the time to subscribe, and thank you for taking the time to watch this. If you are watching it on Christmas Day, I hope you had a fantastic break with your family. And yeah, we're really looking forward to be able to share a little bit of our story over the last 18 months and over the next 12 days, and also just genuinely share some of our passion for property investing, and hopefully you can find that interesting.
Thanks, Helen. So in this first video, we wanted to tell you a bit about us and our journey and how we first started in property, and then finishing off this episode with key three reasons why we think you should be investing in property. So looking back, we started around about 2 years ago. I had a 4-month-old baby girl, and as most new mums would know, it's a pretty tough time when you've never done it before, particularly when you've never done it before. You don't know whether you're coming or going, but Darren took me along to a session all about property investing, and yeah, totally went from there. Got so excited about it, watched quite a lot of Homes Under the Hammer in my time, thought I could do it, but actually thought you had to have a lot of money to do it. Turns out I was wrong, and we've been able to follow our dream, and yeah, we really want everybody to know how we done it, because if we can do it, anybody can. So over the 2 years, we've built up a property portfolio worth over £500,000, and that's not including our own home, which we've actually used our education to buy as well, and have plans for this. So basically, when we started, I was off maternity leave. We had done the usual stuff. We've got pretty good jobs, had really good holidays. We've got a dog. We had a big house. We went out way too much, which stopped actually after we had the kids.
Yep.
But look, like basically what I'm trying to say is we didn't have any savings. In fact, we were actually in quite a little bit of debt. Nothing unusual, probably for people our age, and based on what we were doing, but we did have debt of around £20,000, and even based on that, we still managed to buy what we bought. And one of the biggest reasons we managed to do that was because we invested in education and property. We didn't jump in without any education. We didn't jump in without speaking to people who actually know what they're doing in property. And based on that, we built up our portfolio really from the start. We invested in buy-to-let properties. So generally what we've done with our buy-to-let properties is we have made our money when we bought. We've bought properties that tend to be unloved, uncared for, or just left to really kind of go to ruin, and therefore we've been able to buy them cheaper than what you would call the market rate, and essentially then we take them and refurb them, make them modern, safe, comfortable for new tenants. We look at what those tenants, prospective tenants, actually want in a property, and we refurb them to that standard. And then after owning that property, and once it's tenanted out after 6 months' time, you can mortgage that property. And I'll come on to how we bought it originally in a minute, but we mortgage it, and when we mortgage it, we're able to get a 75% buy-to-let mortgage, and that allows us to pay back the refurb cost and the cost of how we purchased it. So as I said, going back to how we initially purchased the property, our first one we actually did it using a bridge. sounds a bit scary to some people, but it's something that professional property investors do quite regularly. And it really works in some cases. But we really wanted to prove that we could do this ourselves, and that's why we chose to use a bridge product, because the risk is completely on ourselves, and we weren't looking at like somebody, like a friend's like money to use. We wanted to be able to prove ourselves first, and we used the bridge, did it all, and paid it back well in advance of the bridge term, which was 12 months. We actually had it paid back within 9, so all was good. Since then, we've actually generally used other people's money through what we call angel investment. And basically it was a lot of people that we actually know maybe had some money sitting in a bank, earning really low rates of interest, around about 1.5% to maybe 2% max. Not very good when you take into consideration inflation. We actually could give them back, our average kind of return was about 8% per year. So if you look at that, that's a massive difference in terms of what they were getting, which was practically nothing. And yeah, since as we've gone through, we've actually raised around £250,000 worth of angel investment money, and we've paid back, I think, Darren, it was now about over 15,000.
15 to 20,000. It'll be over 20,000 within 6 months. Yeah, but huge amount. And yeah, particularly when, as you said, in relation to inflation's sitting at 3%. Most savings rates in banks are less than 1%. I think 1.5% is probably the best you can get in a high street savings account. That's why we're offering 6 to 10% for our investment. So, yeah, that's how we've been able to raise it.
Yeah, and just before Darren picks up on our top 3 reasons why we think you should be investing in property, I just wanted to touch on the point that given that the majority of our portfolio at the moment is buy to let, not only does it get people in safe, secure homes as tenants, and happy tenants at that, actually based on some of the feedback we've been getting, what it is also doing for us is giving security for our long-term future. We get our properties managed through letting agents, and we'll talk about that in a later episode. But in short, for every property that we have, essentially they're giving us back around about £3,500 gross profit every year. So if you break down that into monthly, it really is giving us passive income. Yeah, we have to do quite a lot of work up front, and we need to dip in and out and just make sure that everything's running smoothly in the properties over time, but that essentially is building our income, passive income, for the future for us and for our kids, because we're in this for long term. It's not a quick win for anybody, but as hopefully you're kind of beginning to see that it really can work if you put the effort in, use the education. And yeah, so Darren's just going to pick up on our top 3 reasons why we think everyone should be investing in property.
Yeah, thanks, Jill. So very quickly I will run through, so why should you invest in property? So we're huge advocates of it. Jill's just mentioned one, passive income. Yes, you need to put in some effort up front, fair bit of effort, not going to lie to you. Nothing comes without any effort that's worth it. So you need to put a bit of effort up front, but after that point in time you can put processes and systems in place to be relatively getting paid, money coming in every single month, and you having to do potentially 1 to 2 days work a year. It's not a great deal of effort in the scheme of things for £3,500 on average. Number 2, they're not making land anymore. I don't know when they started making land, but they're definitely not making it anymore. I know that. There's a chronic shortage of housing in the UK, so the government, I think, need to build about 400,000 homes a year just to keep on top of demand. In the last 10 years, they've not even been able to get to half that level in a single year. So let alone keeping up with demand for houses, is actually, the gap's widening. So there's more and more people that don't have affordable housing. So that's why we fit into that market. Third reason is you're able to have wins all over the place. So a lot of the time you hear people talk about having win-wins in negotiation. We feel like we're win, 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 win. And this is really around, when you invest in the right way, we buy houses that nobody's living in, they are empty, they're not serving the community. We then invest in the UK economy through builders, brokers, solicitors, to bring that up to a real standard, a very good high standard, and we create demand so that tenants will want to stay in our properties. And generally, when there's demand to stay in one of our properties, we can select the best tenant that's going to look after it, going to pay their bills, and they're going to appreciate that property the most. We also then offer a big win for our investor clients, who generally have been getting paid a very, very poor level of interest with their money in the bank, and we've been able to offer interest rates between 6 and 10%. So they are absolutely delighted, and almost to a person, they've came back and reinvested again with us. So that's kind of three key reasons why I think that you should be investing in property. And that's even before we talk about what it does for our company and what it does for ourselves over the next kind of 20-25 years. So I hope that's been useful. Notice we've gone over 10 minutes on the very first episode. We'll see if we can edit some of that out, but if not, then I think that's fine. So thank you. I hope you found that useful and known a little bit more about what we do. Please join us tomorrow. We'll actually go into that first purchase, and we're going to talk a little bit more around how you can get started in property with no money whatsoever. Okay, take care. Have a great night. Thanks for